Hello, dear friends. As a brain specialist, I've witnessed firsthand how quickly life can change. One moment, you're perfectly fine. The next, you might experience double vision, slurred speech, or difficulty lifting an arm. There's often no pain, no warning, just a sudden shift. What's truly unsettling is that these moments often don't stem from what we typically consider unhealthy habits like smoking or high cholesterol. Instead, they can surprisingly arise from everyday choices we make, believing they are beneficial. Millions of older adults routinely consume fruit, genuinely thinking it's the best thing for their well-being. And while many fruits are indeed healthy, some can subtly endanger your brain, especially if consumed improperly or at the wrong time. Today, I want to share insights into 5 specific fruits that could silently increase your risk of stroke, brain hemorrhage, or dangerous blood pressure fluctuations, particularly during the night when your brain is most vulnerable. If you or someone you cherish regularly enjoys bananas, grapes, pineapple, watermelon, or fruit juice, this video's information might just be life-altering. Before we delve in, have you ever paused to consider that something entirely natural could be causing you discomfort or even harm? The truth is, not everything provided by nature remains entirely safe for us once we pass the age of 60. To ensure you never miss another personalized health tip that could genuinely impact your well-being, I encourage you to ring the bell and subscribe if you haven't already. 1. Bananas, a heart-healthy ally that can become a nighttime hazard for blood pressure. For many seasoned individuals, bananas are often considered one of the safest and most beneficial fruits. Their rich potassium content, easy chewability, and frequent recommendation for heart health make them a popular dietary choice. Yet, a crucial piece of information often goes unshared with those over 60. Consuming a banana at an inopportune time of day, particularly late in the evening, could subtly induce a stroke while you're peacefully asleep. This might sound astonishing, but it's a reality I've witnessed repeatedly. As a medical professional specializing in brain health, I've cared for countless stroke victims. Among them, the case of Mr. Edward Clark, a 69-year-old retired Michigan mechanic, remains etched in my memory. Every evening after dinner, Edward adhered to a consistent routine: 2 ripe bananas followed by a warm cup of tea. He genuinely believed this practice was effectively lowering his blood pressure and preventing muscle cramps. However, one morning, his wife discovered him slumped beside their bed. His right arm was completely lifeless, and his speech was garbled. The previous night, he'd suffered a silent stroke during his sleep, without any prior symptoms. The test results were profoundly concerning. His sodium levels were critically imbalanced, and his blood pressure had plummeted to dangerously low levels overnight. The unexpected culprit? An excess of potassium stemming from consuming too many bananas, combined with his evening dose of lisinopril, a commonly prescribed blood pressure medication. This combination had inadvertently pushed his system into a precarious state. Low blood pressure, coupled with altered electrolyte levels, directly translates to reduced blood flow to the brain. You see, as we age, our kidneys become less efficient at filtering out excess potassium. This age-related metabolic slowdown, combined with the natural dehydration that occurs during sleep, creates a perfect storm for a silent brain event. What begins as a seemingly innocent bedtime snack can literally transform into a ticking time bomb within your body. Even more alarming, symptoms might only become apparent after significant damage has already occurred. Many older individuals remain unaware that an overabundance of potassium can weaken the pulse, slow the heart rate, and lower blood pressure to a point where the brain is deprived of the essential oxygen it requires. The tragic outcome can be strokes, repeated strokes, and, on rare occasions, even cardiac arrest while you're asleep. Though Mr. Clark survived, the repercussions were profound. He now requires ongoing speech therapy and relies on a walker. In a single night, a fruit he implicitly trusted stripped him of his independence, his ability to drive, walk unaided, and communicate effectively. Let me be absolutely clear, bananas are not inherently detrimental. However, you might be astonished to discover the immense importance of timing, portion size, and your current medication regimen. Generally, seniors can safely enjoy half a banana in the morning. Yet, consuming 2 or more in the evening, particularly when taking diuretics or blood pressure medications, could lead to disastrous consequences. The most frightening aspect of Edward's story was his complete unawareness of the danger he was placing himself in. And he is certainly not alone. Therefore, if you frequently enjoy potassium-rich snacks after supper or eat bananas at night, I urge you to consult your physician. Review your prescriptions with them. Do not allow a well-intentioned habit to inadvertently rob you of your freedom, your voice, or your vitality. 2. Grapes, a sweet exterior hiding silent damage to the aging brain. If you're over 60, it's highly probable that someone has informed you that grapes are a nutritious and healthy snack. And indeed, at first glance, they seem perfectly benign, small, easy to eat, and brimming with antioxidants. However, many older adults remain unaware that grapes, particularly the extra sweet, seedless varieties commonly sold in most supermarkets today, can pose a hidden brain hazard, especially if consumed in the evening. The risk isn't solely attributed to their sugar content. It's the alarming speed at which that sugar enters your bloodstream. When eaten without the buffering effects of fiber, protein, or fat to slow digestion, such as in a late-night snack, the high fructose content of grapes causes a sharp and rapid increase in blood sugar, inevitably followed by an equally dramatic crash. While younger individuals' bodies can typically manage this roller coaster, for older adults, this unpredictable rise and fall becomes considerably more perilous. Beyond simply increasing blood pressure variability at night and potentially contributing to silent strokes, these glucose spikes and crashes can trigger inflammation within the brain's tiny blood vessels. These are small, asymptomatic occurrences that, over time, gradually cause damage to brain cells. I will forever remember Mr. Gerald Fisher, a 71-year-old retired postal worker who came to me experiencing mild confusion, lightheadedness, and blurred vision. His symptoms were intermittent, predominantly occurring in the mornings. He attributed it to dehydration or simply the aging process. However, after a brain MRI, we uncovered clear evidence of several microinfarcts, small strokes that had gone completely undetected. One particular aspect of his lifestyle immediately caught our attention. Every evening, he would sit down in front of the television with a large bowl of grapes. He claimed this helped him avoid cookies. Yet, those very grapes, due to their high content of fast-acting sugar, were quietly wreaking havoc. Coupled with his existing blood pressure medication and prediabetes, these created an ideal environment for vascular stress and insidious brain inflammation. Gerald now grapples with significant short-term memory problems. Due to something he genuinely believed was healthy, he's now unable to live alone, and his family has had to arrange part-time in-home support. The critical lesson here is that if consumed improperly, at the wrong time, and in the wrong quantity, even natural sugar can become neurotoxic, especially as you age and your metabolism slows down. 3. Pineapple, the covert blood thinner that can trigger brain hemorrhages in seniors. Within your very own kitchen, there might be a fruit that, if you're over 60 and on blood pressure or heart medication, could prove more harmful than helpful. Pineapple, a delightfully sweet tropical fruit, is a popular choice among older adults striving to maintain a healthy diet. It often receives accolades for its purported ability to improve digestion and reduce inflammation. However, here's a crucial piece of information you might not have been told. Bromelain, a naturally occurring enzyme found abundantly in pineapple, possesses significant blood-thinning properties. What's more, when consumed alongside common medications, it can inadvertently ignite a ticking time bomb within your brain. Even if you can't taste it, your blood senses the danger. Bromelain actively hinders your body's natural ability to form clots. While this might sound beneficial if your goal is to prevent a heart attack, taking it too far can cause the rupture of small, delicate capillaries within your brain, especially if you're already prescribed anticoagulants like clopidogrel, warfarin, or aspirin. Most older adults are entirely unaware of this profound interaction. Furthermore, you won't find a warning label on your supplement bottle or even on that seemingly innocuous bowl of fruit salad. The memory of Mrs. Brenda Collins, a 76-year-old retired elementary school teacher from Michigan, will forever stay with me. She arrived at my clinic complaining of nausea, dizziness, and an insistent pounding headache. Her son initially suspected she had the flu. However, a CT scan revealed a different and far more serious picture, a small internal brain hemorrhage, a subtle bleed inside her brain. Brenda had no history of uncontrolled hypertension, nor had her prescription medications been altered. Yet, after reading about its benefits, she had recently started drinking fresh pineapple juice every morning. She genuinely believed it was helping to reduce inflammation and even enhance her memory. In reality, her blood was becoming dangerously thin, leaving her brain inadequately protected. When we reviewed her lab results, they showed poor clotting indicators. When a tiny blood vessel in her brain inevitably burst, her brain was left vulnerable, unprotected by the daily pineapple and her low-dose aspirin. She survived, but her life has irrevocably changed. She now experiences unsteadiness and requires assistance with daily tasks like showering. Her son now meticulously scrutinizes every label in their refrigerator. With tears welling in her eyes, Brenda lamented, "I wish someone had told me a fruit could make my brain bleed." This represents a type of loss that might not appear dramatically catastrophic on the surface. Yet, internally, it transforms everything. Bit by bit, one sip at a time, the danger accumulates. So, the next time you instinctively reach for a pineapple, under the mistaken impression that it is entirely harmless, remember Brenda's experience. Even a nutritious fruit can subtly cause harm, particularly if you are currently taking blood thinners. You might assume that simply avoiding blood-thinning fruits is sufficient. But what if I told you that there is another fruit, seemingly harmless, that actually contains a significant amount of sugar capable of fueling inflammation like a raging fire? 4. Watermelon, a refreshing daytime treat that can harm aging blood vessels at night. Watermelon is, for many, the very essence of summertime comfort. It feels utterly innocuous, is delightfully easy to eat, incredibly refreshing, and can even possess therapeutic qualities. It truly appears to be the quintessential after-dinner snack for older adults, abundantly water-rich, low in calories, and gentle on the stomach. However, through my extensive experience in neurology practice, I've come to learn a harsh reality. Eating watermelon in the evening may quietly elevate the risk of stroke in older individuals while they are soundly asleep. Here's the crucial reason why. Watermelon, composed of over 90% water, also contains an amino acid called citrulline. This compound naturally causes blood vessels to widen and relax. While this might initially sound advantageous for older adults, especially those already taking diuretics or blood pressure medications, it can become a perilous combination. Because watermelon contains such a substantial amount of water, consuming it at night can promote excessive vessel dilation, which often leads to frequent urination and, critically, 2 serious sleep-related issues: abrupt reductions in blood pressure and significant dehydration throughout the night. Our brains are entirely dependent on consistent blood flow and adequate hydration to function properly. When we experience fluid loss and our blood pressure dips too low, the brain simply doesn't receive the vital oxygen it needs. At that critical point, small, silent strokes can insidiously occur. There's no dramatic, obvious breakdown, simply waking up feeling disoriented, unsteady, or discovering a hand that inexplicably won't move properly. One of my patients, Mrs. Patricia Davis, a 74-year-old woman, discovered this devastating truth far too late. To stay cool during the summer, she had been diligently eating a large bowl of cold watermelon every night in July. She was also on a modest beta blocker and a diuretic for heart failure. One morning, her words were slurred, and she found herself unable to stand. At the hospital, we uncovered clear evidence of a nocturnal ischemic stroke, most likely precipitated by severely decreased cerebral blood flow and profound nighttime dehydration. Prior to this, she had exhibited no symptoms, no shortness of breath, no chest pain, just a delightful fruit and what she thought was a restful night's sleep. Now, she struggles with fragmented short-term memory and relies on a cane for mobility. With tears in her eyes, she confided in me, "I genuinely thought I was being healthy. I had no idea a fruit could do this." This is precisely what makes these situations so frightening. The food itself wasn't junk, nor was it alcoholic. It was a straightforward error, made under the wrong circumstances and at the incorrect moment. While watermelon undeniably provides hydration, the nuances of timing, dosage, and potential drug interactions are far more important than many might believe. For older adults, consuming it late at night can be akin to venturing into a fierce storm without an umbrella. 5. Fruit juices, the healthy beverage that can endanger your brain and elevate blood pressure. The advertisements are strikingly familiar to all of us, a cheerful older individual enjoying a refreshing glass of juice, with labels like 100% natural, heart healthy, or no added sugar proudly emblazoned on the bottle. It certainly appears to be a smart, safe, and wholesome choice. However, as a brain doctor, I must share a crucial truth: that seemingly harmless glass of fruit juice can discreetly elevate blood pressure, inflict damage on the delicate blood vessels in the brain, and significantly increase the risk of stroke for many older individuals, particularly if they're already taking prescription medication. Here's the fundamental reason why. The vast majority of fruit juices, even those meticulously advertised as organic or pure, contain a far greater concentration of natural fructose and concentrated sugars than a typical can of soda. Crucially, however, juices lack the vital fiber found in whole fruits, meaning the sugar rapidly enters your system, leading to an abrupt and dramatic spike in both blood pressure and blood sugar. While a younger body can withstand such a sudden physiological swing, for an individual over 60, that rapid surge and subsequent collapse can be severely detrimental, even fatal, particularly if they are currently on beta blockers, diuretics, or statins. I will forever recall the case of Mr. Walter Reed, a 79-year-old retired postman from Ohio. He came to me complaining of persistent dizziness, facial flushing, and unsettling pounding heartbeats in the mornings. His family initially believed these were simply normal aspects of growing older. However, one specific question I posed to him changed everything. "What do you typically eat for breakfast?" He replied, "For the past 12 years, I've had a slice of toast and a tall glass of unsweetened orange juice every single day." We conducted early morning tests, and his blood pressure was fluctuating wildly. He had experienced a recent mini-stroke that he hadn't noticed, dismissing it as merely old age fog. Furthermore, his blood vessels displayed clear signs of inflammation. The stark truth? That daily juice, shocking his system like a sugary coffee jolt, was relentlessly stressing his cardiovascular system and depleting his hydration. Within a single month, after we significantly reduced his juice intake and adjusted his morning meal and hydration routine, the palpitations ceased. However, the lasting cost of not knowing sooner is that he now struggles with balance and grapples with long-term, short-term memory problems. He solemnly informed me, "I genuinely thought I was being healthy. I had no idea that juice could turn against me." The challenging aspect of this situation is our ingrained belief that what we are doing is inherently correct. However, the body undergoes profound changes with age. Things that once nourished us can now subtly cause harm. And labels, unfortunately, won't alert you to these nuanced shifts. That's precisely what I'm here to do. Now is the opportune moment to reconsider if you've been consuming orange, apple, or cranberry juice on a daily basis without much critical thought. You might be truly surprised to learn how bitter the sweetness in that seemingly innocent glass can be for your aging body. 6. What should you eat to stay safe and thrive? By this point, you might be feeling a sense of dread or even overwhelm, and that reaction is entirely understandable. You've just learned that 5 seemingly ordinary fruits, even ones you've always trusted as healthy, may subtly increase your risk of stroke, hypertension, or hemorrhage. Here's the reassuring news. You are far from powerless. The foods you choose to eat today possess the profound ability to either prevent or significantly slow the deterioration of your brain for years to come. It's the contents of the plate in front of you that make a difference, not solely the medications you take. Mrs. Nora Evans, a 68-year-old patient of mine, approached me in a state of profound frustration. Despite diligently taking supplements and choosing healthy fruit drinks, she experienced erratic blood pressure, foggy thinking, and morning vertigo. "Why am I feeling worse?" she asked. Together, we streamlined her supplements and reorganized her diet to pivot towards whole foods, meals tailored for the intricate needs of the aging body and brain. Instead of her usual juice and toast, her breakfast now comprised a boiled egg providing clean protein, half an avocado offering healthy fats, a slice of whole grain toast for slow-release energy, a handful of blueberries packed with brain-protecting antioxidants, a simple glass of room-temperature water. After just 2 weeks, she reported stabilized blood pressure, remarkably subsided dizziness, and a mind clearer than it had been in years. Most importantly, she felt a profound sense of control over her own health once more. I want every senior individual to be acutely aware of this vital truth. Your body no longer processes food in the identical way it did when you were 40. What you truly need now is balance, not excessive dosages. What your body genuinely craves is real fiber, natural fats, pure water, and consistent, wholesome nutrients, not transient sugar rushes or miraculous cures. The following are some of the safest and most intelligent brain foods specifically for seniors. Leafy greens like spinach and kale, providing essential folate and powerful antioxidants. Whole grains like oatmeal or quinoa, which are excellent for improving circulation and effectively regulating blood sugar. Fatty fish such as salmon or sardines, incredibly rich in brain-saving omega-3s. Berries like blueberries or raspberries, celebrated for their anti-inflammatory polyphenol. Nora still enjoys fruit, but now she does so with profound mindfulness, paying careful attention to timing, portion control, and a full awareness of how her body responds. She insightfully shared with me, "I only needed to give up fear, not food." That profound power is unequivocally yours as well. How you think, how you walk, how you remember, and indeed, how you live your future is powerfully influenced by the nourishing food you consume now. This journey is about reclaiming command over your health, one judicious decision at a time, rather than a narrative of harsh limitation. This leads me to one final, sobering reality. Sometimes, what you still genuinely believe to be safe is, in fact, more hazardous than the very food you're eating. Every single decision we make now carries a far greater weight and significance than it did decades ago. Many older adults continue to navigate their lives relying on established routines that were once perfectly safe, without truly grasping that these routines could now be actively harmful. This heartbreaking scenario unfolds because marketing often claims products are natural or heart-friendly, without adequately disclosing how they interact with aging organs, prescribed medications, or nighttime vulnerabilities. It happens because we often forget that when something is amiss, the brain communicates in whispers, not shouts, until eventually, even those whispers fall silent. However, this disheartening path doesn't have to be your destiny. The first crucial step towards safeguarding your brain isn't a new medication or an expensive supplement. It's the profound understanding that even fundamentally healthy foods can transform into detrimental agents in the wrong circumstances. It's about grasping that everything undergoes a transformation as you age, and being prepared to courageously relinquish old habits in favor of new, proactive protection through tiny, yet profoundly wise, adjustments. These include simple acts like eating earlier, consciously reducing fruit juice consumption, substituting protein and fiber for late-night snacks, meticulously reading food labels, and cultivating the habit of asking more insightful questions about what you consume. I have personally witnessed countless patients reclaim their mental lucidity, their precious independence, and their profound peace of mind, all without resorting to drastic or extreme diets. You deserve not merely to exist at this age, but to live exceptionally, with dignity, with vibrant vigor, and with absolute control over the fundamental decisions that will shape your future. Therefore, the next time you instinctively reach for something that appears healthy, take a moment to genuinely consider whether it is actually beneficial for your unique aging body or merely beneficial in principle. That vital question is truly worth your freedom, your future, and the sharpness of your intelligence. It is genuinely never too late to make a new and empowering decision. I assure you, the core purpose of these discussions is to wholeheartedly encourage you to live life to its absolute fullest and most authentic extent. I would be utterly delighted to hear from you. Now, take a minute to think about it and share one thing you learned from this discussion that you have decided to apply to your own life. Let's continue to support each other on this journey of accepting these new truths. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and like and share our videos. Thank you sincerely for watching, and stay healthy and peaceful.